week on CCU TV, learn what our incoming student body president intends for CCU next year.
And if you're sticking around Colorado for spring break, we've got some fun things in Denver for you to do.
Plus, find out what's coming up on campus after you return. All this and more next on CCU TV. I'm Jackie Reister.
And I'm Stephanie Tatham, and it's spring break. We're so excited to have you join us.
We'll be catching you up on news you might have missed, keeping you in the loop for what's coming up on campus during break, and letting you know what to look forward to once you return.
Unfortunately, we're starting off today's show with sad news. One of the most respected women of all time, Nancy Reagan, passed away March 6th from heart failure at the age of 94. Ronald Reagan's First Lady will be greatly missed. Her life and legacy was celebrated on March 11th in Simi Valley, California at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library.
She does deserve to be recognized, a great lady. Every year, the CCU Spring Musical is a highlight, not just for CCU students, but the entire Lakewood community. This year, the show was Little Women, the musical. The show starred Jeanette Lane, Joanna Steele, Marissa Garcia, and CCU TV's Kaylee Bernier, alongside a colorful cast. This musical retelling of a classic story was a hit with students and unique because it is the last director of Shauna McCarthy's productions from a long career with CCU, as she is retiring later this year. There are more School of Music performances coming up if you missed it, and this semester the Handbell concert is April 26th.
On March 2nd and 3rd, students had the opportunity to choose their new student body president. This year, the CCU Senate had 4 promising candidates run for CCU student body president. After 2 days of voting, Michael Lucero won the campus over and will be stepping in next year to lead our university. Michael looks forward to interacting with students and staff alike, as well as figuring out how he can make CCU an even better place.
I'm also excited to get some of my ideas and see if I can put them into action. So one main thing I want to do is get an honors program sort of rolling. I'm talking to some faculty right now, and that's just an exciting experience. I want to see CCU continue to grow and continue to gain that potential that we have.
Next time you see Michael around campus, don't forget to say hi and of course congratulate him.
Good job, Michael.
The CCU women's softball team is recently back from Durango. Bailey Johnson gives us an inside look on what it's like to travel with the team.
In early March, the CCU women's softball team traveled to Durango, Colorado to play a 4-game series against the Fort Lewis Skyhawks. Even facing some losses, the team came away hopeful for the rest of the season.
But in the RMAC, there's a lot, you never know who's going to win the season or who's going to win the conference, so I would never count us out. We have a lot of work to do, like I said, in just improving our defense and overall offensive skills. We really do have a talented team, but it will just take a few more steps to improve to get to that position where we can go farther than we did in last year.
What really sets the team apart is not necessarily talent, but the true sportsmanship and community that CCU is known for.
I've had such a good time being on this team because there's a lot of positive energy.
The team is clearly bounded in a unique way, even with the new members on the team, as they face the challenge of developing individual talent into a team strength.
We do have a really young team, with majority of it being taken up by sophomores and freshmen. So we have a lot of talented girls who are just trying to find their way in the college sport.
With many home games ahead, the CCU women's softball team has plenty of opportunity to finish strong. You can support the team by going to Lakewood Park for the rest of the semester. I'm Bailey Johnson in Durango, CCU TV.
Thanks, Bailey. For the softball calendar and other Cougar sports, visit ccucougars.com.
Colorado Christian University's debate team recently competed at the National Christian College Forensics Association Invitational Tournament in San Diego, California, where they faced teams from around the country in speech and debate events. Allie Gordon has more.
Besides the Waves, Sand and Sun, the NCCFI national tournament that took the CCU debate team to San Diego this year was unique because it is the one tournament on their competitive circuit where the team contends against solely Christian schools. Competitor Reese Ray says that coming from a background in the Christian homeschooling community, she has learned much from collegiate competition during most of the season, where the team competes against schools with differing perspectives.
We're communicating to secular judges, secular schools, against ideas that are very opposed to what I believe, and so just learning how to be winsome and kind and show them what Christians can be, not just judgmental and legalistic.
In San Diego, however, the schools included rival Christian universities like Carson Newman, Whitworth, and Point Loma Nazarene. In addition to distinctly Christian concerns, the team also faced questions on policy, international relations, and a variety of current issues.
It's very clear that ISIS has had a far more detrimental effect on Syria.
The team finished well with championship placings by Reese Ray and Joseph Maroney in individual forms of debate, Will Martin and Ben Ellison in team debate, and Mikhail Jaco in communication analysis. Other team members Morgan Getz, Brandon Yates, Emily Erickson, Cheyenne Austin, Lauren Holmes, Stephen Scheffel, and James Lutak each took placings in a variety of other events. When the team was not competing, they enjoyed cultural experiences around California, including authentic Hispanic music and cuisine and a trip to the beach. On the whole, Reese says the experience and competition on the team has prepared both herself and her teammates for whatever careers they intend, not just in their communication, but also as Christians.
I mean, we're always communicating to different audiences and learning how to relate to people of all different types is really, really important.
Recruitment for next season has already begun, so if you or someone you know is interested in joining the team, check out ccu.edu/debate or email Professor of Communication and Director of Debate, Dr. Chris Leland. In San Diego, Allie Gordon, CCU TV.
Thanks, Allie. The team has garnered top finishes from the past 3 years now, including a second-place sweepstakes award in this year's competition and 2 first-place sweepstakes award in 2014 and 2015. Best of luck to the team as they head out to Pi Kappa Delta's national tournament in Kentucky.
In other debate team news, officers for the 2016-2017 season were recently elected. Leadership will include CCU TV's Allie Gordon as president, Mikhail Jaco as vice president, Morgan Getz as secretary, Joseph Maroney as outreach officer, and Cole Brown as chaplain. Congratulations to all.
There are 2 groups of students on campus that are required to wear suits at times, one being the debate team, but the other being SBL students. Every semester, the School of Business and Leadership hosts a symposium that all SBL students are required to attend. This spring, the symposium was held at Red Rocks Church in Lakewood and featured brother entrepreneurs Jeff and Grade Batchelor, as well as former Disney Imagineer McNair Wilson, author of Hatch, Brainstorming Secrets of a Theme Park Designer, and one of the Imagineers behind Disney's Tower of Terror. The key takeaway from McNair's speech was classic Disney: follow your dreams and never give up.
Opening day of Disney World, 1971 in Florida. Walt had been dead since 1966. And he said to his brother Roy, isn't it too bad Walt didn't live to see this? He said, oh, no. This is here because Walt saw it.
Dr. Ewan's class, The Disney Way of Leadership, will be in Disneyland over spring break, but for the rest of you business majors, SBL's next event, the Values Aligned Leadership Summit, is April 21st. I just wish I could go to Disneyland over spring break.
The Tower of Terror is my favorite ride. That catches you up on what you might have missed, but during spring break, there are a number of things going on around campus and the Denver area. For those of you who will be staying in town for Easter this year, check out the Red Rocks Amphitheater for their 69th Easter service by the Colorado Council of Churches on March 27th. The service is starting at 6 o'clock a.m. and ending at 7:30 a.m. Admission is free for all of those who are attending. This is a great way to experience Red Rocks if you haven't been up there before.
Speaking of Easter, earlier this month, dozens of CCU students gathered at the local Belmar Theater to see a screening of the film Risen, a different take on the Easter story. Risen is the newest telling of the death, resurrection, and ascension of Christ, but told from the perspective of a Roman soldier in charge of finding the missing body of Jesus. Risen is a fresh take on what it is like for a non-believer being confronted with the person and character of Jesus. Almost like a Roman episode of CSI, Joseph Fiennes, who plays the lead character, searches for the truth and wrestles with the miraculous. CCU students reacted to the film as I met with them after the screening.
It was powerful. It really brings it to life in ways that are sometimes hard to remember when it's just like words on a page as opposed to when you're really seeing it and seeing him hold someone.
It was very interesting coming from a soldier's perspective rather than Jesus or disciples. In fact, I kind of liked it this way. Get to see different things, how it worked in a different way. It was just very unique, I guess.
Seems like Risen was taken well by the student body. If you haven't seen the film, spring break is a great time to do so. Let us know what you think of the movie at facebook.com/CCUTV.
As we are coming towards the midpoint of the second semester, we find our CCU students getting ready to embark out into the world, some of them during spring break. Here's Nicholas LaGuardia with the story.
One of CCU's biggest events is our missions trips. Every year we send out those who are able and willing to serve the nations. I had the chance to observe one of the many mission trip fundraisers that may take place for these trips and spoke to the leaders on how it is going in their preparations.
Midterms are over and we're like, might as well just go now, but we can't. But we'll be going in the summer. Super exciting, meeting once a week, and this salsa dancing is awesome.
As well as how team building is going and the excitement there is for those heading out.
I think our best experience is probably bowling because it like brings out the competitive side in some people. They're like, I didn't know you were that competitive. She's like yelling at us, like, you're bowling next because we're gonna win. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think the most exciting part for me is that I get to bring a whole new team to Ecuador. So I got to go 2 years ago to Ecuador, and now I get to bring a whole new team. We have me and another returning person, Meg Halloran, and yeah, we get to go back, and I'm excited to see the people again, all the relationships that I built to continue those, and see the pastor and his wife and his kids.
This year we have a little over 15 missions trips to take place in 2016. While a few like England and New York are happening while we are on our spring break, there are those who will be heading out later this summer.
Thanks, Nick. We hope that our CCU teams have safe travels and make an impact in the world.
Many of us have wondered what outdoor leadership minors are required to do to complete their degrees. While many of us are home enjoying the break, CCU outdoor leadership students are backpacking the Grand Canyon. In completion of the outdoor leadership course, Backcountry Skills and Spiritual Formation, students will traverse over 7 days, covering over 30 miles, all while reveling in God's beautiful creation, the Grand Canyon. Be on the lookout for some great pictures when they return, and in the meantime, be praying for the group's safety.
OMalleys comes a little late this year, but be prepared for some great acts after you return from break. OMalleys Alley is an annual lip sync competition that usually comes during a preview weekend. This year's show had been moved back due to CCU hosting the NCCAA tournament for basketball. So far, the show is promising to be quite the entertainment, including performances from well-known groups such as the women's soccer team and the discipleship team. OMalleys is officially scheduled for March 31st this week after students return from spring break. Be sure to show up early for seats as the show starts at 7. If this is your first OMalleys experience, be sure to check out the Student Activities YouTube channel and Facebook page.
CCU Ministries Young Hearts has a special love for the elderly, especially at Lakeview Senior Living Center. Kaylee Bernier is here to tell us about what these students do in this week's Ministry Minute.
Lakeview Senior Living Center is a popular spot for several CCU students. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m., Young Hearts Ministry travels to this retirement home to sing, play, and share the love of Christ.
Sometimes, as college students, we're so focused on young students, and we kind of forget about the elderly. And I think that it's a great opportunity to build relational bridges and just get wisdom for your own life. And
the elderly who are in nursing homes really need some form of contact and just need love. They hardly ever get any visitors, so we're here to help them to be able to feel like they're needed and loved by both us and God.
We have such a personal connection with the older people and each other. So we're pouring into each other, and at the same time they're pouring into us, and we're all growing so much in God.
Young Heart's main mission is to love on the residents and bring them joy through Bible studies and building strong relationships. In Lakewood, Kaylee Bernier, CCU TV.
Thank you, Kaylee. To find out more information on Young Hearts, contact Allie Anderson at younghearts.ccu@gmail.com.
CCU to the World is looking ahead to spring break missions trips to England and Scotland, and summer trips are coming up to more than 8 locations around the world. One group of students will be serving in Thailand this summer, and Allie Gordon sat down with the trip's leader to hear about his country and his story.
At the corner of Alameda and Garrison, Talk of the Thai Asian Grill is a CCU favorite, but how many students know about the culture behind the cuisine? One CCU junior calls Thailand home and shared his journey and country.
I've lived in Thailand for the past 17 years. My mom went to Thailand over 27 years ago with a YWAM team. She loved it, so she stayed for a 5-year commitment. And the way my dad puts it is when he asked her to marry him, he said, "Would you like to make your 5-year commitment a 50-year commitment?"
CCU was the only school in the U.S. where Zion applied, and he now studies secondary education and history. But his family founded the Aka Outreach Foundation to serve the 2.5 million Tibetan immigrants who now live in northern Thailand and the surrounding regions. Zion believes the religious culture of the area has had a distinct impact on how his family serves.
Freedom of religion is very different there, is because even though 98% of the country is Buddhist themselves, they're probably the least aggressive people towards Christians or other religions. Sometimes it creates a hard ministry environment because they're so chill about everything and they're so laid back about it. But I think we can learn something as Christians from that kind of culture by being open to new ideas, being open to knowing what other people actually think and knowing who they are and what makes them up for who they are, rather than starting out the conversation with you as a hero and them as a villain.
It's that Thai culture of hospitality found at the little restaurant off Alameda.
Looks really clean and nice and friendly. We have a lot of customers, very friendly, like a family, yes.
As Zion prepares to lead a CCU to the World trip back home to Thailand this summer, he has one tip for CCU students.
I think we're often ready to hear, or we're often ready to be somewhere and do something, but sometimes we miss out on seeing outside of ourselves. Sometimes we miss out on seeing outside of our own narrative. If we can step outside of that and see what the world needs or what the world has to offer, I think we will just get along better. I think we'll just learn a lot more and have more context for what we're actually saying.
To find out more about supporting the trip or any of the other missions trips coming up, check out ccu.edu/CCU to the World. In Lakewood, Allie Gordon, CCU TV.
Thanks, Allie. CCU to the World has served in over 50 countries around the world.
I do have to say, I think my favorite country, though, is Australia.
That's a quality country.
One thing you may notice when you get back to campus is the new volleyball courts that are expected to be constructed before the semester's end, according to Jim McCormick. Connor Dittmar is here with the details.
Thanks, Jackie. Something that students will really look forward to after the end of spring break will be the beginning of the construction of the new volleyball courts.
With CCU currently working on the new Anschutz building, they will also be working on the new volleyball courts, which will be placed in the small parking lot near the Shire. Volleyball in general is huge in the CCU community, and students are very excited about what it means to be getting something so special returned to campus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited hearing that the volleyball court's going to be over there. I'm excited to get it back. I miss the old volleyball court, actually skating where it used to be. And, it's a great community builder. I remember freshman year just sitting in my stairwell with the windows open, and I'd hear people yelling and cheering, and hear the sound of the ball getting hit, and I'd come out and watch them, or sometimes I'd even join, because they're always so nice and gracious and let me join them. They're just fun. It builds great camaraderie and great community. I miss it. I'm glad it's coming back.
Activities in CCU volleyball include moonlight volleyball for WOW, as well as intramural events. These events give way for students to meet other students, build great relationships, and create new memories in their experience with CCU.
I'm very excited that they are bringing back the sand volleyball courts on campus. They're going to be, from what I understand, putting them where Ghetto used to be, which is exciting that they're replacing one part that is essential to the nature of CCU, that of Ghetto, with another thing that is essential to CCU, that of volleyball courts. I think that they were an incredibly important part of the community, and I'm very excited that we're going to be able to I mean, I'm graduating, but future generations of CCU students will be able to enjoy the volleyball courts. I mean, without them, I probably wouldn't have met my first 5 or 6 crushes. And where would I be as a man at CCU without having met my first 5 or 6 crushes? I'd be crushed.
As we can hear, these volleyball courts sure will seem to be a great new addition to the campus of CCU, both now and in the future, to build upon a great community on this campus. I'm Connor Dittmar. In Lakewood, CCU TV.
Thanks, Connor. You know, I just remember when Moonlight Volleyball was hosted on campus.
You could hear the screams and shouts from your dorm room all night long. Jackie's headed over to Studio B for our Cougar Sports update, but while she gets ready, here's an update on the NCCAA tournament CCU hosted before break. CCU had the opportunity to host the National Christian College Athletic Association Central Regional Tournament. Both men and women's teams took to the court Thursday and Friday and participated in the regional championship game. Unfortunately, the men's team lost to Central Baptist by 1 point to end their season. The women ended up beating Oklahoma Baptist in the final game after heading into overtime. The girls play at Grace College in Winona Lake, Indiana, March 16th through the 19th for the national championship. For more sports updates, I'll turn it over to Jackie in Studio B.
Spring break, because when you return, there's a lot of sports for you to come and support. The baseball team are spending their spring break here in Lakewood playing at their home stadium, so if you're still in town, be sure to catch them playing Adams State on the 25th and 26th at 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. each day. Our softball team is in the Springs for their break, but they will be back in action at Lakewood Park on April 2nd and 3rd playing Metro State. Our tennis team spent part of their break in California, but they will be back at their home courts playing Metro State on April 1st at 3:30 p.m. Also, for those who did not hear, CCU is proud to host the NCCAA tournament for basketball last weekend, where our men's and women's teams competed against teams from Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Our men had a close loss against Central Baptist College their first game, but our women's teams won both their games against the Lions and Bisons, making them the regional champions of 2016. Keep up the good work, Cougars. I'm Jackie Reister, and this has been your Cougar Sports Update.
Thanks, Jackie. That's all we have for you this time. We hope you have an awesome spring break.
And as always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.